understand that at least 3 persons have been hit. The president was hit.
John Hinckley.
They have been underestimating us all our lives. I want to show them I can do this, but not without you, not without your faith.
Mr. President, this is the worst possible thing you could do right now.
Last time I checked, I am in control here.
Jody, I would abandon this idea of getting Reagan in a second if I could only win your heart and live out the rest of my life with you. At least you know that I'll always love you.
Send him where you want, to whoever you want. But don't tell him that he's failing.
I can assassinate the president.
Lynn Nofziger has told reporters at the hospital that the president was not wounded. He was wounded. My God.
It is your job to protect him.
I walked into this hospital, and I want to walk out.
All set?
I am now.
That is audio from the trailer for the National Geographic TV movie Killing Reagan, based on the book with the same name. It premieres this Sunday at 7 o'clock Central for us, and the star of that is Tim Matheson. You might remember him from Animal House, amongst other things. Tim is on the MPW Digital TV Celebrity Hotline. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much. I have to tell you that I was doing a lot of research because I was looking forward to this conversation, and I watched a couple different things about Killing Reagan. And my friend, I think you totally captured the essence of Ronald Reagan. Congratulations. I can't wait to watch it.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Thanks very much. I was very nervous about, approaching this and getting it right and then, the externals, and then finding really the inside, the heart of the man, too. I think that was the key.
And where we're located, we're not too far from where Ronald Reagan grew up, which is like the Sterling, Rock Falls, Illinois area. So a lot of people still think fondly of Ronald Reagan. And I think what I've noticed the most, and again, I haven't seen the movie Killing Reagan yet. We'll watch it Sunday at 7 o'clock Central for us on the National Geographic Channel. But, Tim, it seems like when people portray Ronald Reagan, or they have in the past, they try and mimic his voice, and it just becomes too much of like an impression. And I noticed that you did not do that, per se.
Well, that's so true, Tony. That was one of my biggest concerns, is that I remember Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show doing Ronald Reagan skits, and he had a very funny way of doing Reagan, and with a funny wig, and it was hysterical. But I just thought, and I don't do impressions, I'm not that guy. So sure. I figured if I try and do too much to make me sound like Ronald Reagan exactly, I'll sound like Johnny, and it'll be a disaster. So I just wanted to honor and place the voice right and do enough of it so that they say, the audience goes, oh yeah, that's Ron. But I didn't want to do a caricature, because really the most important thing is what's in his heart, what's inside the man, and once you get that, I think then the rest sort of came with it.
So in Killing Reagan, which is based on the book that Bill O'Reilly wrote, obviously you're playing Ronald Reagan. Cynthia Nixon is portraying Nancy Reagan. And I wonder that in the process of learning more about Ron and Nancy, how impressed were you to find out how strong of a person Nancy was? I mean, she was really paramount in Ron's life. She was his right hand, so to speak, wasn't she?
Absolutely. As I think Patty Davis said at Nancy Reagan's funeral, without Nancy Reagan, there would have never have been a President Ronald Reagan. It's just that she was a stalwart supporter of his and the love of his life. And that was the thing that I think the most surprising thing. Not surprising, I knew they were close, but he wrote her love notes every day and constantly left little notes and presents all around the White House for her to find. And he just she was in his heart and mind every second of every day, and she protected him from the traps that were out there in the presidency, and if somebody wasn't giving him their full support, then she made sure that they either corrected their course or they were gone.
Yeah, no kidding. Did you feel pressure because, obviously you're an actor and your approach to portraying Ronald Reagan and wanting to do that well, but did you feel pressure while you were making Killing Reagan, or was it like another acting job? Because I don't know, because I don't act. So was there more pressure on yourself with this role?
There was a lot of pressure at first for me, just that I put on myself. As I've got to get this right. I want to honor him. I want to, do justice to the script and to his legacy. But once we started working with Cynthia Nixon, she's such a good actor, and we immediately established a great rapport that was very sort of what our approximation of what Ronnie and Nancy must have had. And because we would sit in makeup for like an hour and a half, I got my wig on and she'd get her wig on. I mean, because I didn't have any prosthetics, and nor did she, but you had a lot of makeup. But the second we came out of that trailer in the morning, everyone referred to me as Mr. President.
Wow.
All the cast and crew, and and everyone referred to her as Mrs. Reagan, and it was Rod Lurie, our director, just casually just made it reinforce the reality of what we were doing, and it wasn't precious on the set. It was just very relaxed and comfortable, and what we assumed must have been much like what it was in the Reagan White House.
Absolutely. Well, again, I can't wait to see it Sunday night, 7:00 Central, National Geographic Channel, Killing Reagan. If you're just tuning in, that's Tim Matheson. I have a question from one of your fans off of Facebook. Can I ask that to you?
Please, Tony, go ahead.
So Colleen says, always wondered if there was ever a chance to get the surviving cast of Animal House back together again. Obviously, people still adore that movie all these years later. Did that happen at all over the years? I mean, it would have been tough without John. I understand that.
There were scripts done. There was Animal House 2. There were, way back at the beginning. And once we lost John Belushi, I think that there's no way to do that as a film. Many of us have stayed in touch with each other. I ran into Ivan Reitman, the producer, not too long ago, and he's wonderful and talented and just a great guy. And I see some of the cast, Jamie Widows, who's a wonderful television director here in Hollywood, and Bruce McGill, who is a wonderful actor and is in so many different things. Rizzoli and Isles, he was in for like 5 years or so, and Peter Rieger's a friend and a wonderful actor. So so we still stay in touch.
Sure.
But I think but I haven't really done any reunions with the gang for a while.
When you were filming Van Wilder and Ryan Reynolds was still coming up at that point, could you tell that he? I mean, he seems like he's always been talented, but the guy has become like a mega star. I wonder at that time, did you think like, wow, this kid's got what it takes to have legs and have a good career?
Yes, I mean, I remember talking to him. He was so gracious, and so he studied comedy so much. He asked me so many questions about working with Chevy Chase, like on Fletch, and he knew Animal House, and he studied film comedy. So I mean, here was a guy who was he didn't take anything for granted, and it really reminded me when I was a kid actor, when I worked with Lucille Ball or Henry Fonda or Bob Hope or Jackie Gleason, of the tremendous dedication and hard work that went into their performances and preparation. Ryan was that same way, and that to me is what separated the most talented and biggest stars I've ever worked with, is how hard they work. And Ryan was right in there from the start, and I just said, boy, this guy's got the goods.
Tim, we're running out of time, but two things before I let you go. A compliment, and I don't know who sent this because they didn't say their name, but on our text line it said, Tony, looking forward to your interview with Tim. Tell him he's one of my heroes. Up on the Creek, 1941, Drop Dead Fred, Black Sheep, Squadron, just to name a few. So that's just a compliment. Again, I don't know who sent it, but I wanted to read that to you.
Thank you.
And then,
thank you, Tony. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, the last question that I have is you've done a lot of directing, so I wonder, Tim, is it a thing? And obviously, we're talking about you're acting and portraying Ronald Reagan, Killing Reagan, Sunday night, 7:00, National Geographic Channel. But do you enjoy directing as much as acting? Is it on the same level, or what?
I think acting I enjoy more because there's an emotional involvement, and you're in the middle of the comedy or the drama and the story with other characters. You're rubbing elbows, and directing is a very sort of cerebral thing. You're standing back, it's like a chess game, and you're going, well, like I want to get through this. You have to manage time and elements and people, and it's really a management thing. So they're so totally different. But I think acting is the more emotional and visceral part of it, and I've been doing it all my life, and so it's a wonderful place to spend time.
Well, you've been doing it incredibly well. Tim Matheson, thank you so much for the time. We'll see you as Ronald Reagan, Killing Reagan, National Geographic, 7:00 Central, Sunday night. All the best to you. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.